Section 6 of Chapter 2. And we're still working with English into algebra. And here we're going to be dealing with percent. So as I tell my students, the key to much of this is converting what is there into percent. So let's get started. What number, and I'm going to use the letter N, I like N for number, is 88%. We're converting now percent to a decimal. In decimal form, that's 88%. You just take away the percentage sign and move the decimal over 2 places. Of is another word for multiplication. So there's the equation. So in your calculator, you're just going to multiply with the decimal this times this. All right, number 2. What number, again, N, is 15%? Oh, this is just like the one above. $3.15. Now this one's a little different. The number 209 is what percent? We can use a P. And then of this. Now when we do number 3, we're going to divide both sides by this, and we'll get a decimal. Then we have to convert it to percent by moving the decimal 2 places to the right. And this one is exactly the same. 211.2 is what percent of 320? And this one, the number 3412.5 is 75% of N. Again, you're going to divide both sides by 0.75, and that will give you N. Then the number 770 is 5%. Now I have to be careful of the decimal. What number? So over on the right now are the answers. Notice when you divide both sides by this, you get 0.22. And again, to convert that to a percent, you have to move the decimal place over 2 places to the right and add a percent sign. Now, if you put 0.22%, that's going to be wrong. So again, you need to be careful of that. All right, let's go on. Okay, for these next few, they're going to ask us to look at this graph, which is back from 2005. Various kinds of music. And a pie graph. What percent of recorded music sold was pop? Well, we go to pop right there, 10%. That one was easy. Now, if this is 12 billion in recorded music was sold in this year, what was the value of rock music? Well, there's rock is 33%. So 12 billion times 33% that I converted to decimal is this. And we have to be sure we put billion there. In number 9, 12 billion rap music. Well, we go up here, rap is 7%. So we go 12 times 7% is this. Now, notice this isn't billion. The 3 is billion. So what comes after billion? Well, millions. So that's where they get this answer from. Okay? Now, again, what would be acceptable here? Well, you could write this out as the billion. You'd have to look in what MathLab is saying. Do they say billion? Do you have that choice? Do they say million? Do you have that choice? Again, you have to kind of fit the answer in this answer space they give you as to what they're asking. Now, if there's a problem, keep in mind that when you go over the test with your tutor or instructor, sometimes more points can be awarded. So keep that in mind. Now, over here, I'm giving you a little lesson before we go on here. And here we have the original price. And let's say that's $100. Then we have the new price. And let's say that's $75. So this is a decrease, isn't it? Started at 100, it's down to 75. Well, what's the difference in that? The difference in that, we subtract it and we get 25. We then take our 25, that's the difference, it's actually a decrease, and we put it over the original price, which was 100. And we put that in our calculator and it comes out this. And we then convert that to percent by moving the decimal over 2 places. And we say that was a 25% decrease. Now, suppose instead of being at 75, the new price, that every once in a while the new price might be more, 125. Let's put a 5 there. There we go. Now, we subtract that, it's 25, but now it's an increase. So we put the 25 over the original always over the original price, and that gives us a 25% increase. So again, as we read the problem, we're looking to see, is it an increase? Is it a decrease? If it's an increase, we subtract it from the original, find the difference, put the difference over the original amount. Okay? This is the general recipe. So, over here for number 10, here we see the coats are discounted by 25%. The original price was $150. So what's the discount? Well, you go 150 times 25%. That'll give you the discount, which is $37.50. You then subtract that from the original price of 150 and you get the new price. These are all in dollars. Now, a way to figure out the price without subtracting, depending what they ask you, would be to go 150 times, you'll be paying at the cash register 75%. And that'll give you the new price. So here you're a two-step. You're taking 25% off, then subtracting that from the 150. Here you're directly, depending what they're asking you. All right. Here the pound of cheese rose from, this was the original price, to the new price. I then subtract it and I get 60 cents. Now, do I put the 60 cents over the 170 or the 230? Again, what was the original price? 170. That's what you put it over, as we show here. You put it always over the original price. Find the difference, put it over the original price, convert it to a percent. Okay, I see we're at 11 minutes, but again, I don't want to rush it too much. All right, these next few, here a recent dinner at a local restaurant costs this, including the tax. Find the total cost if 15% tip is added. Well, there's the cost of the meal and tax, and that would be 100%. But we're adding to that 100%, which is the 15% tip. So if we multiply this original cost by 1.15, this is the tip. The 1 is the original, plus the tip gives you the answer right over there. Now, Hosea's salary increased by 8% this year. If his salary was this, which is what we have here, and again, the 1 indicates 100% of this, and then we've added to it 8%. So if we multiply this by this, we get his new salary. Suzanne received a 9% raise this year. Find her original salary if her new salary is this. Now, this is her new salary. And here is her old salary. If you multiply her old salary by 1.09, this is the increase of the old salary to give her this current salary. So if you divide this, both sides, by 1.09, you'll get her old salary. And this one works the same way. Well, down here. If after a 6% pay raise, her new salary is this. So there's the 6% raise out of last year's salary. That's what N is. So when you solve for N, you get 50,000. So her raise is 3,000. Now, in many of these, you're going to have to look at them again and try to understand what's going on. And some of you might say, well, I'll do this by arithmetic. That's okay, but by putting it into an equation and understanding what's going on, that's going to be your recipe for future success. Okay, here we're getting into some mixture problems. And I'm just going to give you the formula. In the lesson back that I did earlier, I go over, making a chart and analyzing this. But here, to keep it a little short, here's the formula. Now, how many liters of 20% salt? Well, there's our 20% salt. How many liters? We don't know. That's what they're asking. So we're saying N will be our number of liters. to be added to 30 liters of 15%. Well, there's our 15% and there's our 30. To get a solution that is 18%. So this is our end result, 18%. And then how much will we have altogether? Well, we're going to have this n amount and this 30 amount. And that's the basic formula. So again, get rid of the decimals. I'm not going to solve it here, but that's how you set it up, and there's the liters. Now here they can make this peanut brittle for this, and they sell it for this. So that's an increase. So we subtract them. We get a difference of price of $3. Now the key is, where do you put this difference? Over the original price or over the new price? And the answer is, from before, over the original. Always over the original. And that gives you a 120% increase. Now, 19 and 20, they're both a little tricky. Let's do 19 first. Here, the sales price is this after a 25% discount. So what does this sales price reflect? What percent of the original? Well, if you're going to get 25% discount, you're paying 75% of the original price. So there it is, 75% of the original price, which is N, is this. Divide both sides by 0.75, and that gives you the original price. Now, note, when you're doing these problems, you should use, smarts. If you're getting a lesser price, after, you got to kind of figure out what's going on. Okay. 20, when I first read it, I had to read it a couple of times because this is tricky. How much water should be added to 60 gallons of a solution that is 80% antifreeze in order to get a mixture that is 60% antifreeze? Well, what is the percent when you add pure water? Well, pure water is 100%. So 100% of how many gallons of pure water? But now we're dealing here with water, and they're talking about antifreeze. In an 80% antifreeze, how much water is there? Well, 20% is water of that 60 gallons. And we want to end up with a 60% antifreeze. So how much water is in 60% antifreeze? 40% of water. So again, we're wondering how much pure water to add. So we have to figure in water, not antifreeze. That's the real tricky part of this one. In fact, that's the first one I've run into that is this tricky. That here you're saying, well, it's 80% antifreeze. You want 20% water. This is 60% antifreeze. You want 40% water. So you're dealing in the same stuff. And then again, just move the decimal points over, and it comes out nicely to 20%. And again, if you'd like help with working any of these out, ask your tutors, your instructors, and I would be particularly happy to go over it with you one-on-one to help you master this. So this one is going to be 20 minutes long. Wow.